Come and dream with me.
Hello and welcome to What Do You Want to Watch, the Explosion Network's premium media podcast. Every week we get together to talk about movies, TV, and online content to help you answer the question, if the older gentleman directed 96% of all movies released in North America and Europe, what are the 4% that he didn't direct? Probably animated movies. I'm your host, Ash Elbley. Joining me today, Dylan Blight.
Yes. What?
Do you understand that reference at all?
No.
Not understand what I'm talking about? We'll
No.
get into it a bit later.
Okay.
On today's episode, we'll be talking about what's in our watch history, going over some film news, giving thumbs for trailers, and give this week's top 3. Dylan, you ventured out of the cinema and you've seen 2 of the big films taking over the box office, big box office successes. How about you talk to me first about Obsession?
So, yes, Obsession. Just quickly, these 2 movies, very good to see they're both doing very well. What a time we live in. Sometimes there's some good news coming out. People go and watch them.
Both these movies outgrossed The Mandalorian and Grogu in the United States this week.
Yep. Good shit.
Some would say a win for cinema.
A win for cinema, I would say. All right, so Obsession is... I'm trying to think about how to properly describe it. So the setup for this one is literally you've got a guy who... I'm just going to find quickly... Michael Johnson plays Bear. He is this guy who is in a friend group where he's got the hots for basically this girl that's in the friend group played by Indy Nevetti, Nikki. And the start of the movie is like him playing over, like, you're telling this girl how he feels and all this sort of stuff, but he doesn't do it. Long story short, he buys this toy. I guess it's a toy. It's supposed to be a toy. Like, you crack it and you make a wish. And he cracks it, and his wish is, he says something along the lines of, I wish for Nikki, whatever her last name is, to love me more than anyone else in the whole world. Anyway, it turns out this thing isn't a toy. It actually makes the wish come true. So this girl begins, as the title says, obsessing over him. She loves him more than anyone else or anything in the world, to a sickly degree and a not good obsessive way. In weird ways. In fact, there's a scene where he leaves the house, as much as she may not want him to leave her alone, because she can't leave him alone. She's obsessed with him. And she just stands creepily at the door the entire day, waiting for him to come back, and pisses her pants and just doesn't move or anything. Just stands there. And it's very creepy. There's a lot of creepy, weird scenes in this movie. But the thing with this movie is, and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Probably one of the better movies I've watched this year. It is... I saw someone describe it. So I wrote a review the night I got back from watching it. Mm-hmm. I think I gave it a 9, maybe. I'm trying to remember now, but double fact check my own scores, please. It is, but then I saw someone this morning when I was looking on Instagram, someone pointed out exactly sort of how I feel about too, where you're going to have 2 types of people watch this. Did I give it a 9?
You gave it a 9, yes.
Thank you. You have 2 types of people watch this, which is you're going to watch. Some people are watching it, guys, usually is the core of this, watching this, and the takeaway is that the movie's about creepy, obsessive girlfriends and what they can do to ruin a man's life. Not the take I had, and not what I think the intended take is at all, but that's just the direction you're going. The take I had, and I think this is the correct take, is it's more about the control, like weird control. Because at the end of the day, this is a movie in which a guy makes a wish for a girl who doesn't like him to like him. And then he knows it's fake. He knows it's not right. And then several times, even very early into this magical takeover that happens to her, she breaks every now and then. It's like the spell will drop for a second and the real version will come out. And like that happens very early. The first night they're like sort of together and making out. And then she breaks and starts freaking out. It's like, no, what's happening? So there's her normal or the real version of Nikki's like within the body at some point within there, like rejecting all of this and not wanting it. And he knows that. And at some point in the movie, you can make the argument he doesn't fully click onto that for a while, but a certain stage, it's very much like he knows this isn't actually the Nikki that he supposedly loves, but he chooses to continue with it anyway, which
Mhm.
ultimately is just this controlling, like she's the obsessive one, but like it's not right is the sort of thing. I think all the performances are fantastic, especially in the Vetti. She is sensational in this. She fully commits to this role that requires her to just be weird or do just very creepy at times. I mean, I think that people have started turning memeing already, and I think the studios sort of helped that because they put out the clip and everything. Obviously, there's like this dinner scene where he asks her about something and she like freaks out in the restaurant and starts going no 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 no, and then people have been like using that to do some memes. So good free promotional, I guess. Um, it was made for like 750,000 as well, like the ridiculously small budget. It looks fantastic. It has this very like I don't know, like very naturalistic style to it. It's not like overgoing for anything. And for the most part, it's just a very weird thriller because you know so it goes off. There is one scene that sort of gets violent that I wasn't really expecting, and when it happens, it is quite shocking. But they released behind the scenes clip already of that, which was very funny to see actors just playing around, having a goofy time when you know what actually happens in the context of the movie, which is always sort of fun to see play out behind the scenes and stuff. But yeah, I thought this was fantastic. It's the best thing about this is it's a concept that's sort of been done before multiple times. Like ultimately, it's sort of the monkey's paw sort of
That's the
thing.
thing. Apparently, he was inspired by the Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors sketch or episode that featured the monkey's paw.
Yeah, it's
That was
very much
inspired.
that.
He watched that on the screen, and that was he watched a rerun, and that was the impetus. Yeah.
It's like the concept is not unique in and of
Yeah, you
itself.
get your wish, but it's twisted. Yeah.
It's twisted, but the way in which the film takes that and makes it about sort of what it has to say about toxic relationships, or especially, and I think there's an element, and that's what I put in my review because as soon as I finished it, I honestly my takeaway was I'm walking away going, I don't know if he wrote him that way, but like there is like an incelish bit to bear as a character. Like he doesn't portray a lot of those incel sort of vibes or stuff, and I don't even know who's probably written that way. But like that was the characteristics I was getting out of him as a character a bit from this. And then by the end of it, it was just making me think about like you know all the Andrew Tates and stuff like that. It's like this is what they sort of this is what you want. It doesn't matter about the woman's feelings. It doesn't matter if she's okay with it. She should fucking like all that. That's sort of what I got out of it. So it feels rather current with the manosphere vibes that we're currently living through these past few years and currently. So, yeah, I think it's fantastic. It's definitely worth a watch, and I'm glad to see it's doing so well at the cinema. Because I like was the promotion for this? No, I word of mouth. It's gone up when you look at the
Yeah.
the charts. It's like this and word of mouth is just
I believe the second weekend was bigger than the first weekend, which is very, very rare.
very rare. Movies usually spike and then drop, and then a slow decline.
The first
after
weekend, it's like declined from the first weekend.
Yeah, so it's not often
this
these days you get, but it's such a like sort of old, it's sort of classic cinema. The way it obviously used to work a bit more, where it's a bunch of people go check out a movie first week, it's out, word of mouth spreads, and then more people go check it out. Like that's good. I think that's positive.
Yeah, very good. All right, and then the second of the big box office winners of the weekend that you've watched was Backrooms.
Backrooms had a bit of a bigger budget, 10 million, I think this one was, compared to the 50,000. But and I think
Whoa.
they used that nearly all building the ridiculously huge sets that they did for this.
Yes.
But also directed by a 19-year-old, I think Kane Parsons is. So wild.
Yes, which is why the story had been going around that this was ghost directed by somebody else and not directed by Kane Parsons.
Well, that's what
And
your
he
reference
then
was.
came
I
out and
saw
said,
them.
yes. He joked that all films are directed by, or 94% of films are directed by the older gentleman. Ghost directed by the
Right.
older
I
gentleman.
didn't see that. All I saw was the Mark Duplass thing where he came out and
Video.
defended him and said that he was there. It's like, well, whatever, he replied to someone and was like, I didn't realize you were on set because I saw him directing everything and blah, 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 you know. So, yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, so this is based on, so Kane Parsons did a bunch of the YouTube backroom stuff when, like YouTube videos when he was younger, he's 19 now. I've seen some of those, I watched some of those because they were quite popular. It's all part of when people doing lots of creepypasta. People were creating creepypasta content online. You know, I used to watch a lot of the Slender Man videos and shit like that as well. There was a time period where a lot of this stuff was quite popular and fun. People were doing, and you know, it's the whole like people that you sell it as it's like real. You know, like people posting these Slender Man stories and backroom stories and uploading them like these like sort of found footage elements. This obviously tries to make it more of a cohesive narrative around it, but you have Chill. How do you say his name? Ejiofor, who's this owner of this furniture store, and he is. I mean, look, he's he's a lot going wrong in his life at this point. He's like split up with his partner. A lot of inbuilt rage within this man, just despises lots of different elements. His business is failing. You see, you know, and he's trying to look into what's causing it one day, and he's like sleeping over, and it's like these lights keep flickering on and off, and he discovers there's in the bottom back end area of this building, there is a part where you can walk through the wall and enter this seemingly never-ending section of what looks to be or at least at first, what looks to be a never-ending recreation of the store, but it spreads out and becomes all sorts of weird other rooms and oddities along the way. It's hard to say too much about this one without spoiling it, because it is a lot of. It's a vibe. I mean, I don't think this movie is going to be for everyone. I don't think it's like, because the movie I was thinking about coming out of it, even though I didn't really like the movie, is Skinamarink, yeah, which I didn't like. I appreciated at least it was trying to do something different, but it didn't vibe for me. But this still has that same sort of feeling, not as much because you have characters and there is dialogue and talking for a lot of it. But when you have the characters walking around, especially when his character first like enters the area, there's just like prolonged sections of him just walking around creepy. And obviously he's not interacting with anyone, it's just creepy, you know, because it's just these yellow walls everywhere and just shit packed up, and there's just the subtleness of the score, and you know, you hear something in the background. Is that a thing? Is it just something creaking? You know, like it's just an off feeling to it all. He tries to convince his therapist after going in there for the first time, played by Renee Renzive, who doesn't believe him, shockingly, because he's talking about magical walls and all sorts of stuff. He ropes some of people in. Anyway, he goes missing. Slight spoilers / not, because I don't know, I feel like trailer sort of shows most of it, and then she eventually ends up having to go look for him as well. I think by the time you get to the end of the movie, I think the thing that might annoy some people is it doesn't give you, obviously, and if you're going into this movie expecting to have a definitive answer to what is the Backrooms or where this come from, I think you're going in sort of setting yourself up for failure. Trying to do a movie where you explain what any of this is sort of not the direction you was ever going to go with this, especially the point really. It does have an interesting story. It builds up between knowing Chiwetel. I can never say his name. Do it again.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Chiwetel Ejiofor. Yes, his character Clark it does a good job at like building up his backstory, and then also Renee slash the character's Mary, her backstory, because you see some flashbacks to herself and like how that eventually ties into how the Backrooms feeds off the people that sort of enter it into what it creates, and that's the level of, I guess, explanation slash backstory you sort of get to it that makes it a bit more interesting. Yeah, it's a whole vibe. I can't. Some of the set design is amazing. Like just as far as they created a lot of this, the majority of it's like real from all accounts, and that's where a big part of the money went. I think I saw something on social media on Instagram like A24 saying how big the area they created, and apparently sometimes people on set were getting lost as well because they created these massive things, and they did all that, and then yeah, it's just like the recreation stuff, just the bring to life, just the oddities of the furniture all stacked together, and all the other different stuff you see while you're watching it. That it's sort of nothing like anything else you probably watched, and it's definitely interesting that there's nearly a subgenre of weird. I don't know what genre we're putting this in, but between there's the subgenre within video games, which sort of liminal spaces and these sort of you know of it's like that's sort of tying into movies now because it's like you could put this and a couple others including like Exit 8 just recently come out. It's like this, it's sort of bleeding into cinema a bit with a lot of these releases, which is interesting as well. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't think it's going to be for everyone. It's sort of its own genre, but will be interesting to see considering how well it's doing. I think we'll get a sequel to it. Not that it needs a sequel, but just because there's enough potential to do one if they want. And I think considering how well it is doing for A24, I think we'll get another one. So, but yeah, I would suggest both these movies. Good week at the cinema. That's what I would say.
Very good. Happy for you. All right.
You're not going to watch either of
checked
these. Is your answer?
No, I'm not going to. Very unlikely. So I've checked out the first couple episodes of Spider-Noir, the new series that came to Prime Video, starring Nicolas Cage as the Spider, or what's his actual name in the show? Ben Reilly, I guess, who is a detective in a 1930s-esque New York City. He was a private investigator. He used to be the Spider-Man of his universe, I guess. But after his love interest dies, he kind of gave it up, and now the city has been overrun by the gangster Silvermane, played by Brendan Gleeson, while he is like a down on his like private investigator, just trying to get by on tailing adulterers and that kind of thing. Yeah, I'm enjoying the show so far. I feel like clearly the visuals are like a key point. I'm watching it in black and white, and I feel like especially in that opening, I'm intrigued to see how they did it in the color version, like the opening scenes and that kind of stuff, because I feel like they've done it in a way where they can get away with some of the CGI and that kind of stuff. Like, and because it's black and white, it's not as obvious. So whether that is more obvious when you watch it in color will be interesting to me. But I think they're doing a really good job of like setting up this version of New York City, or this version of the Spider-Man world. Really loving Nicolas Cage as Ben Reilly, who is very kind of a little bit more pessimistic than how Peter Parker and that kind of thing, but still wants to do the right thing and kind of has his own code and that kind of thing. Because he's given up his spider, being the Spider, but kind of has been drugged back into it after the latest case, in which is connected to Silvermane, but then also has Flint Marko, the Sandman involved, and Cat Hardy, played by Lee John Lee, who is, I guess, a Black Cat stand-in slash femme fatale kind of figure. Yeah, I'm enjoying the tone so far. There's also Lamont Morris, who's playing Robbie Robertson, who's like a investigative journalist trying to find out about who knows about the spider, and is also just trying to find out about these weird. The first case is like Silvermane's mansion is like burnt down, and it turns out that like the crook or the person who was going after him had fire powers, but after an encounter with Ben Riley, he ends up dead. And that kind of sets off a whole set of events and that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm liking the show so far. Obviously only 2 episodes in of the 8 this season, so keen to see how all the events play out, and also would be interested to see how it looks in color, because it definitely feels like it was intended to be black and white, even though there's like the occasional thing with like some shadows and that kind of thing that like I don't think they intended for this to be a shadow here or something like that. So there's like one big musical number where Lee Chun Lee is singing a version of Dream a Little Dream, and they're like she's got like a weird headdress thing on her head, and like there's shadows across her face from the headdress, which I don't think was intended, but may just be how it ended up in the shot. So that was a little thing that stood out to me. But the action's really good. The web slinging is really fun. Yeah, it's a very surprisingly good Spider-Man show for live action television. So check out Spider-Noir on Prime Video. All right, let's move into the mandatory Netflix segment of the show. And Dylan, you've been watching a series called Trust Me, The False Prophet.
Trust Me, The False Prophet follows Christine Mary and Tolga Katis, who's her husband. I was trying to find the place. So they relocate to Short Creek Community, which is in Arizona, Utah. And they moved there and find out it's basically got all these fundamentalist Church of Latter-day Saint type people there. And she begins like she's a very you learn through this about her. She's a very like sort of open person, very much wants to help people, and not a very judgmental sort of woman. So she begins, and she has a sort of dark past where she was she got dragged into a cult in her younger years, and is both wary of it but also understanding of how and why people can end up in these scenarios. And her husband's a music video director, I think. Well, yeah, music video director. And they just begin filming all this stuff, thinking they're going to make maybe a documentary about these people. And that's why they have all this footage that they have when this series starts. However, they didn't set out to make what they end up making, because they then, amongst it all, basically end up finding the evidence of Samuel Bateman, who is the guy currently leading the group. Of course, well, I say of course, it sounds mean, but of course, having sex with minors and marrying them all and all the stuff you love to hear about.
All the weird cult stuff that usually happens. Yeah.
All the weird cult stuff that usually happens. So they start finding all that. But the craziest thing about this one that makes it quite interesting is just the fact that they get all these interviews with him and footage of him, because they started filming this whole thing and sort of made friends with the whole community, who were not particularly trusting of outsiders, but they sort of earned all this trust. And then by the time they click onto potentially him, what he's doing and all this sort of stuff, they're already sort of in with him. And he's inviting them to go hang out with them, and he's happily letting them record stuff. So then they have all this footage, and they're able to then go present that to police and stuff while they keep filming and they're investigating at the same time. So you have this weird thing where it sort of plays out, not in real time because obviously it's been edited down and put on Netflix, but it's just an interesting thing where it's not the sort of crime documentary that you're used to watching on Netflix where it's, a bunch of talking heads and people talking about what's happened. It's like they just started recording because of one reason, and they just so happened to fall into the crime aspect, and this is what you get when it all sort of comes together. So because of that, it's a unique and interesting sort of window into what's happening. And then you have the talking head elements is them sort of explaining the context around potential footage and what's happening at the time, like being like, we were recording this, and as you can see here, this was happening, and like she'll say something because she's trying to save face and like still be friendly with all of them, but then you cut to talking head and she'll be like, oh my god, that was so weird when that was happening, and sort of more contextualized sort of stuff that was happening. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Obviously it's got messed up elements and of course, but as far as a doco series to watch on Netflix, I'm really surprised if this one ends up being one of the better ones for the whole year. I mean, it's just such a unique window that you can't set out to make something like this. Set out to get this type of access. So
yeah, it sounds like it was right place, right time. Just as simple as it. Or wrong place, wrong time, I guess.
Wrong place. But I mean, kind of right place, right time, because ultimately it's spoilers / not spoilers. Obviously it helps them get him. Yeah. So
all right. We've both watched the final one of the Untold UK documentaries. This one about Vinnie Jones, who we, as film fans, probably all know from Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels and a bunch of Guy Ritchie films before he went over to Hollywood to star in a whole bunch of stuff. But before that, as Dylan's dad told him frequently, Vinnie Jones was a footballer.
Mm-hmm.
Played football in England. Starting off as like, getting a chance as just playing non-league football.
He was a bricklayer or a carpenter or something.
He was working as a bricklayer, got a contract to play for Wimbledon Football Club in, I think, the second league. I don't know if they got into the first division at that point, but he gets a contract with the club, becomes his kind of cult figure for his hardman actions. Helps Wimbledon win the FA Cup, which is a big competition in football. And becomes this, cult figure, hardman figure, which he starts to take to heart. And, there is an element of him playing quite dirty and doing some unsavory things on the field. And the documentary kind of tracks his football, mostly focused on his football career. Going through his status in the game, the talk around him, but also his success and his the different clubs that he went to, just his mentality. Very much most of it just a major interview with Vinnie Jones himself about the events that played out and that kind of stuff. I think one of the more interesting things was like he was a columnist for The Sun, I want to say. One of the newspapers.
With Piers Morgan.
So Piers Morgan features heavily in this documentary. It was so weird to see him in this. But I found all that quite fascinating. A very interesting character, obviously very charismatic and that kind of stuff. And then touching on how he eventually did get that role in Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, which changed his career trajectory and that kind of stuff. I mean, it's pretty standard documentary, but it's pretty enjoyable. Dylan, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's like it's a fine. I don't know, it's weird to call it a documentary. It honestly feels more like a good interview with footage rather than a documentary, is how it's described. I think it's a good interview with Vinnie Jones.
Interview.
I think it's a good extensive interview with Vinnie Jones, and he makes for a good interview subject. And it's interesting to hear him talk about all of these things from his aspect. There's a couple other people as well, but I mean, obviously you get a mostly him featured in the thing that's about him, surprisingly. So yeah, it felt less. It's not really a documentary because there's no diving in, and it just doesn't feel like a documentary really to me. It does feel like more of a special that you would see on TV with a extensive interview with a subject with some added elements. I'm not even saying that as a negative thing. Like that's just what it sort of felt like, and I enjoyed it.
That's just how you classify a documentary nowadays.
Well, sometimes, yeah, this should be true. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Obviously, like a lot of this stuff I already knew, just because I did. Like I've Googled Vinnie Jones many years ago. I've done like my thing, like, but obviously it just extrapolates on a lot of the stuff and hearing him explain some more of the stories and the key moments in his life. But like obviously if you read about someone and say it can be a couple sentences of he jumped from this team to this team to this team, he was known as a but having that span 10-15 minutes as he explains more about it makes it a little bit more interesting than just a couple sentences on a Wikipedia page, so
Yeah.
I'll say
I mean, all
if
the
you enjoy
archival footage as well, I think, was really good as well. Like, also all the talk shows and stuff that you popped up on.
Yeah.
How it was willing to be part of the joke, I guess.
Yeah. So no, I'd say if you have any aspect in either, I think, football / Vinnie Jones as an actor, then it's worth watching.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's on Netflix. That's everything in our watch history. Let's move on. I do have a couple of small news stories. Very quiet with Git this week. Start with this one. It looks like we're getting another Paddington movie because they've just announced the writing team for the next Paddington film. Reading from Variety, Paddington Bear has found a new pair of writers to come up with his next big screen adventure and looks to have secured a director as well. Variety can exclusively confirm that Armando Iannucci, the Emmy-winning and Oscar-nominated Scotsman best known for his creating satirical shows Veep and The Thick of It, is set to turn his pen to London's most beloved four-pawed Peruvian expat and will write the upcoming fourth film in the Studio Canal's hit Paddington franchise. Iannucci will be joined on screenplay duties by his long-standing and fellow Emmy-winning and Oscar-nominated co-writer Simon Blackwell, who served as key writer on both Veep and The Thick of It. Meanwhile, Variety hears that Dougal Wilson, the award-winning commercials and music videos director, who made his featured film debut with the third film, Paddington in Peru, is in talks to return. Dylan, what are your thoughts on Armando Iannucci, creator of Veep, creator of The Thick of It, director of The Death of Stalin, writing the next Paddington film?
Yeah, I want Paddington to come screaming out of the office going, "You're a fucking cunt, you're a fucking cunt," right? Now you two fucking cunts get back to work. That's what I want.
Yes, the bad guy needs to be Peter Capaldi, and it's just completely bleeped the entire thing.
Yep.
This children's
I'm
movie.
down for that. That's the only way I'm accepting this. It's weird, is the honest answer to him directing it, but also
Writing, to be clear.
writing. Yeah, so just odd. But sure, whatever. My excitement level for any future Paddington movies is lower after the last one, to be completely real. I mean, obviously we love and big talk. We talked about the first two movies a lot, in particular the second one, which is one of the best movies of the last 10 years still. But the third one was just
fine.
It's fine. It wasn't bad. It was just fine. I watched it once. I'm probably never going to watch it again. If I'm putting on Paddington, I'm just going to put on Paddington 2. Why would I ever put on that Paddington Goes to Peru? No offense, but
no, I feel the same. It's like a very left field. Wouldn't have picked that person at all, especially someone with that pedigree. That name recognition and pedigree, I think, the two things that are very odd for the fourth entry in a franchise. You would think they'd just kind of get, not to be derogatory, but they'd just get anybody to come in and write the next Paddington movie, because I'm sure they've got ideas of what they want to do. But to get someone who is as creative and has this body of work, I think is quite interesting, and could see something very interesting in the next Paddington film. Which, yeah, it's not like they're left in like any incredibly different direction, other than the family he lives with is still getting older and that kind of stuff, and like all the kids are kind of growing up. So I think that's the only thing that they. But well, yeah, I mean, possibly except the parents. So that's very interesting. The other piece of news that caught my eye this week: Damien Leone is moving to the Hollywood studio system with his next original horror project. Leone, who's bootstrapped himself into the top echelons of horror thanks to the Terrifier franchise, has closed a deal to write, direct, and produce Tortures of the Damned at Lionsgate. Plot details are unknown, but sources say it's a different tone to the Terrifier and will sport a heftier budget than the low-budget Terrifier franchise. He will turn his attention to the project after completing work on the fourth Terrifier movie, which is in pre-production. Horror maestro Sam Raimi will produce, with Rob Tampert through their ghost house. So, what do you think of your boy Damien Leone going mainstream?
It's great news. I think if the thing is, if you think about so many big directors that are currently working in Hollywood, even ones that you watch their current movies because they're working within the Hollywood system, a lot of them started out with sloppy horror movies. I mean, if you even look at Peter Jackson, started his career with C tier horror slop is how he started his career, and then gets over onto Lord of the Rings. So I don't think you can ever judge someone by what they start a career. And also, the thing is, the first of you could say like his earlier films were a lot lower budget and whatever else. By the time you get to like Terrifier 2, Terrifier 3, love it or hate the level of violence and all that sort of stuff, they are well made movies. There's no like he's an accomplished, like he has enough, he knows how to direct film. End of story. The Terrifier films aren't just popular because they got a lot of violence and blood and gore in them. They're well made movies. They're well put together. So yeah, I mean, good for him. Is my answer to that. But obviously, I'll get excited about anything future after I get Terrifier 4. I need to see how the story wraps up. Yeah, it's so weird. Also, they have 4 as an ending to a, like 4 movies as the end of it. It's weird. Usually have a trilogy, you know.
Well,
like
I mean,
a quadrilogy.
I get the impression that the 2, 3, and 4 is a trilogy.
Yeah,
Terrifier
well, it's sort
is
of like
a proof of concept.
Yeah, you had All Hallows Eve, which is where art's first introduced in that film. Then he did Terrifier, which is sort of, you know, its own thing. And then that was successful enough, and it's sort of like, but they were like just sort of acting on their own, but the story didn't kick in really until the second one. Well, the main girl that's in them now wasn't introduced to the second one, so it is sort of like 2, 3, and 4.
That's why,
all starring her. Yeah, she wasn't in the 1st one.
All right. That's all the film news for this week. A bit light, so seems like another good opportunity for the Blatant Engagement Farming Questionnaire. Where I give Dylan a bunch of interesting questions. Hopefully they get clipped out and used for social content, because chasing those clicks, chasing
Just
those
those clicks,
social,
bro.
chasing
Don't
those
forget to like,
views.
follow, and subscribe. Ring your bell.
Ring the bell. All right, Dylan. What is the scariest film animal?
What's the scariest film animal? Scariest film animal. Scariest film animal. I'm gonna go just blanket rabid dogs. There's not still like rabid dogs in a horror movie of any variation. Just nasty dogs.
Like
It's still
Cujo.
scary. Because you know that, yeah, Cujo and shit. Like, because they can, like, as much as I love dogs and stuff, you put a crazy dog, they can come from anywhere. You know, they can hurt you. Is the thing. You know, you can put a nasty cat in the movie, but I'm like, just kick that thing. You know,
There's a spectrum. There's like Cujo, and then there's like the dog from The Sandlot.
Yeah. So, and other things you could be like, yeah, but lion and stuff. I'm like, oh man, I've seen a lion in a horror movie like once. I ain't counting that. Dog.
Beast.
Yeah.
All right. If Director Jowl existed, what would it look like?
You'd sit in there, and it'd be like that episode of Black Mirror where they go into that room that just plays like all the screens around you, and it'll just have all variations of shitty movies playing consistently. So then, depending on your term in director's jail, you would have to watch nothing but the worst scenes play out on screens around you, just to constantly remind you of why you're here.
Really sad that Damien Chazelle's there right now.
He's not.
All right. What?
How dare you? Babylon is one of the underrated masterpieces of the century. Piece of shit.
I'm not saying it. Other people are saying it.
They can go to jail.
What currently subscribed to streaming service are you most likely to drop next?
Paramount. Paramount's the one I
So-
drop and come back to the most. To be real,
Yeah.
I just drop that. That's the one I'm like unsub, unsub, sub. Yeah. If not that,
What 3D
binge would be my
binge?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it doesn't have the HBO stuff. It's a bit
yeah. It's hard to keep
less of
around,
a.
but then every now and then they still have stuff on there I need to watch. But
But they're trying to get you back in, so it's always quite cheap.
yeah, that's the thing as well. Yeah.
Okay. What 3D animated movie would you want to see remade in 2D animation?
3D animated movie remade into 3D animated movie in 2D. That's a hard one. 3D animated 2D. The original Shrek. Do it for the anniversary or something.
Yeah, that could be interesting. My answer is Earwig and the Witch.
Sure. Why not? Can I make it better? Can't make it worse.
It's true. All right. What is the best time to watch a movie at the cinema?
The best time to watch a movie. I don't think this should be controversial, but this is the thing. I would say this 6:30, 7 o'clock with people, because that's more fun when you actually have a good crowd. But the thing is, people always do this thing like they try to go when there's no one there. Like my dad always never wants to go to the cinema because there's people there and stuff. Because you have like one shitty experience or something, and it's gonna happen. Like that's the thing. You go to cinema, you go to a public space, you go to a public transport, you go to any restaurant, something like you're gonna have shitty times sometimes. But all in all, part of the cinema experience is being able to hear people laugh at the jokes, people get scared at scary moments, or all that sort of stuff makes I'd say genre movies in particular more fun, not dramas or whatever, but that's part of it. So I'm gonna say peak time. 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say that. Like, if I want to see a movie with people, it'd be like 7:30. That would be the optimal time. Because then you got time to eat before.
Yeah, true,
And then
true.
before, and then if I don't want to see it with people, it's like 1 o'clock. About that time. Yeah. Just the
Go
afternoon.
in the afternoon, yeah.
Yeah. All right. What is worse? Out of sync sounds or constant buffering?
Oh. Out of sync sounds. Hold on, no. Constant buffering. Can I pause it and just wait? Because like that's fixable. The out of sync sound, presume that's like something you can't just fix. Like if it's out of sync sound and it's just the video files, like it's fucked. It's fucked. So that's worse. If something's buffering, I can just pause it and wait. I can't pause and wait for the sound to sync.
But it just keeps buffering even if you pause and wait.
Well, yeah, I would say out of sync sound then. If I had to pick between it buffering every
It's fair.
couple minutes, I would rather at least be watching something that sounds correct.
How out of sync does it need to be before?
Not a lot.
Okay.
Not a lot for it to be annoying, because your brain picks up on
Yeah.
that stuff like quite. Yeah.
Who's currently the best female action star?
Best female action star. I mean, is it bad that I can't even think of that many people? Like, sort of says a lot, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, what's her name? No, don't help me. No, that's not how I want. No. No, that's not how I was thinking. No. I think this is who I was thinking of, even though I haven't watched all of their movies. No, that's not who I was thinking of. You can keep waiting. Just sit there and wait. No. No. No, no, no. Oh, I can't find it. I don't know. You fucked me. No, fuck it. Charlize Theron. Fuck it. I'm just going her. I mean, she's currently done the most, I feel, at least Hollywood, big action franchises. So, sure. Charlie's fine.
I mean, my mind, it's probably either Anna de Armas or Lashana Lynch.
Anna de Armas has got the
De
2
Armas.
movies, and obviously it's really good in both. But I don't know if she's done. But yeah,
Enough. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Last question for this week. What actor would you like to see make a career resurgence next?
Let me just check something and see if this person would count. What's he done lately? Because people are still acting sometimes, but I'm like, I haven't seen him in shit for ages. Let's have a look. Don't know what that is. Oh yeah, he was in that. That's not much. Yeah, fuck it. All right, I'm picking Clive Owen.
Okay.
He used to be in
Yeah, he's
so much shit, and like you would see him in so many movies. And I feel like he was very like that early 2000s, mid 2000s era was in a lot of. But yeah, I just looked and I'm like, I don't know what the hell that is. Cleaner, what the fuck's that? What's Murder at the End of the World?
that's
I don't remember what.
Daisy Ridley.
Yeah, cool. American Crime Story was in. Fine, it's 10 episodes of the show, but no, I don't know what half this other shit is. I'm saying, yeah. So I was like, yeah, Clive Owen.
All right.
Maybe you look like the period here where it's like between like Sin City, Children of Men, Inside Man, Shoot 'Em Up, Elizabeth the Golden Age, Derail King Arthur, all these other, all that period there, all that sort of stuff. Even through to probably the Knicks, where it's sort of after the Nick, the TV series, by the director who wouldn't make movies anymore. Then he career, I think, yeah.
Disappears. All right. Hopefully some of that is salvageable and worthy of
Good luck to you.
internet views.
Good luck to
Now
you.
let's talk about some movie trailers. In Thumbs for Trailers. Of course, you can find all the trailers about to talk about in the show notes below. Kicking things off, we've got Gal Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Pass, directed by David Wayne, starring Zoe Deutsch, John Slattery, Ken Marino, Miles Gutierrez O'Reilly, Ben Wang, Sabrina Impa Chatri, John Hamm. When her fiance uses their celebrity pass agreement, Midwest bride Gal Daughtry travels to Hollywood seeking revenge by pursuing her own celebrity encounter. Tell them what you think of the trailer for Gal Daughtry and a Celebrity Sex Pass.
Yep, double thumbs up. Looks nonsensical, wild time. I don't really know what I'm watching, but looks fun. And Weird Al's got a gun.
That's true. Yeah, 2 thumbs up for me. It looks really good. Zoe Deutsch looks great. I'm enjoying that John Slattery is very much hamming it up as a version of himself. John Hamm looks like he's in this, so I mean he's on board with whatever's going on. The bit with Ben Wang, who think he's like really excited about helping this person out, having sex
And
with
gets
John
fired.
Hamm, and gets fired. That's pretty funny. So this looks like a really good time. I'm very keen. I think it was a pretty good hit, pretty well received at Sundance from memory. Gal Daughtry in the Celebrity Sex Pass is coming to US cinemas on the 10th of July. No Australian release date. Is about to play at the Sydney Film Festival, which may still have tickets if you're in Sydney when this comes out. Next trailer is for I Am Frank Elder, directed by Arturo Ambrose and Roy Ambrose, starring Mireille Mendoza, Arturo Mercado Jr., and Luis Leonardo Suarez. A gifted young writer in 19th century Mexico journeys into her subconscious and comes face to face with characters from her own spooky stories. Dylan, what do you think of the trailer for this Mexican stop motion animated film?
Yeah, it looks beautiful. I love the stop motion. I love it's very detailed, intricate set designs. These little stop motion element. It doesn't look overly, how like some of the stop motion stuff you get sometimes it's like they add in a bunch of CGI and stuff around the sets, and sort of it takes away from sometimes the more proper handcrafted feel, whereas this just generally feels very handcrafted. Even when they're like adding a bit of a, I don't know, blue glow. Well, I don't know, there's little elements, but none of it felt like it was overshadowing. That still felt very stop motion and handcrafted, which I quite appreciate. So yeah, 2 thumbs up.
I will give it 1 up, 1 down. I think it does look good. It definitely, I mean, it gives Robot Chicken vibes just because of the mouth animation. That it looks like a lot of those shorts and that kind of stuff, and it's got that action figure kind of vibe to it. My main issue is the dub, because clearly this is a Mexican film. Obviously, it would have been originally done in Spanish.
You can just watch it with subtitles. You know?
Probably, yeah. I mean, for this version of the trailer, which is done in English, the lip syncing is not good. So I would say yes, watch it with Mexican in Spanish with English subtitles. But it looks pretty good for a stop motion film. It looks very inventive and all that kind of stuff. Interesting world that's set up and that kind of stuff. So very intriguing. I Am Frank Elder is coming to Netflix on the 12th of June. Next trailer is for In the Hand of Dante, directed by Julian Schnabel, starring Oscar Isaac, Gal Gadot, Jared Butler, John Malkovich, Louis Cancelmi, Sarah Impacciatori, Benjamin Clementine, Martin Scorsese, Al Pacino, and Jason Momoa. A handwritten manuscript of Dante Alighieri's poem The Divine Comedy makes its way from a priest to a mob boss in New York City, where it's taken by Nick Toches after he's asked to verify its authenticity. Dylan, what did you think of the trailer for In the Hand of Dante?
I think for like the first 30, 45 seconds, I was like, what the hell am I watching here? It took a bit to click on and be on board with it. But I think by the time I reached the end of the trailer, I was fully sort of on board once I realized we was doing some dual time storytelling thing, and it's in color and it's in black and white to help differentiate the times, although the one that's in the past is in color and the one that's in the present is in black and white. Yeah, double thumbs up. Just looks like a, I don't know, wild. I don't know. It's like, what are we doing? Dante's Inferno, but sort of while someone tries to steal it. I don't know. It looks great. All right, double thumbs up.
I'll give a 1 up, 1 down. This trailer has an element of, wait, you're in this movie as well? Wait, you're in this movie as well? Because every like 10, 20 seconds, like a new reasonably famous person shows up. They couldn't just roll them all out at once, you know?
Even to the point you get towards the end of the trailer, and I'm like, is that
Are you freaking
the Mandalorian and Grogu's Martin Scorsese with another role?
Yeah.
This upcoming actor?
It's just, he booked a lot of stuff, you know? This Martin Scorsese dude getting really busy.
He's
fucking
well
Jason Momoa shows up. It's like, really?
Just looks like Jason Momoa.
This is and Al Pacino all of it just wanders into the scene. It's crazy. So, I mean, intriguing. Obviously, visually looks pretty solid. Like interesting conceit of like you said, the black and white for present day, color for the past. It seems like everybody's playing dual roles. Someone's playing a role in the present, someone's playing a role in the past. So,
Jared Butler with a terrible beard in the past. As a priest or whatever the hell he is, I don't know, Vatican person.
I mean, good for him finally getting a role where he isn't trying to save the world or save a president. In the Hand of Dante is coming to Netflix on the 24th of June. Next trailer is for The Killings at Parish Station, created by Ben Jenkins, starring Mia Wasikowski, Heather Mitchell, Xavier Samuel, Robert Taylor, and Alan Dale. In 1987, Detective Georgia Cook investigates scientists' brutal murders with one survivor. Her probe into occult elements risks everything. 37 years later, new killings force her to revisit the Parish Station horror. Tom, what do you think of the trailer for this new miniseries coming to Stan?
Double thumbs up. I love it. Obviously, Australian original Stan series. I usually enjoy most of them. Mia Wasikowski's great actress. General murder mystery vibes and stuff's going on. My only problem is just my downside is just the consistent. We're doing everything that's in Australia has to be in the fucking desert somewhere most of the time, or the outback most of the time. So that whole element, but
Makes sense for
I'm
this story. I feel like
it does
the
for this story,
remoteness
but
of
there's
the
it's just the because that's where so much stuff's at. It's sort of even when something makes sense, it's still just like here we are again. But yes, no, I was already keen for this one, so yeah, double thumbs up.
Okay. Yeah, 2 thumbs up. I think it's interesting. It is her in the future. It's Mia Wasikowska as the older version as well, isn't it? Like with a really impressive makeup job because she looks slightly unrecognizable.
No, I think it's someone else.
Is it? Because all the other actors seem to be aged up.
It might not be. I could have been wrong. I thought I read something that was someone else. I could be wrong. I don't know. I can't really find an answer quickly. I was trying to see if I could find a picture. It says that Heather Mitchell's credited as
Okay,
Georgia.
was the older version. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my bad.
Yeah.
Everybody else has got really good makeup then. I guess they couldn't do it for her. I don't know, for whatever reason, maybe too big a part. But yeah, looks really good. Intrigued by the mystery of this seems like fucking aliens or something. Some sort of paranormal / occult thing seems to be involved. So The Killings at Parish Station is coming to Stan starting 24th of June. Final trailer for this week. Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma. Directed by Joan Schoenbrunn, starring Hannah Ironbinder, Gillian Anderson, Jack Haven, and Patrick Fischler. A queer filmmaker is hired to direct a new installment of a long-running slasher franchise known as Camp Miasma. The director becomes fixated on the project of casting the reclusive actress who played the final girl in the original movie. As the two women begin to work together, they descend into a frenzy of psychosexual mania. Tell what you give the trailer for Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma.
Yep, double thumbs up. Super keen. Love everything about it. No fucking idea what's going on. I love that I saw the TV glow. Let's go. That's about my thoughts because there's so much happening in this trailer and I don't really fucking understand half of it, but that's fine because I'm fully on board.
Yeah, I have to give it 2 thumbs up as well. I think it's a really interesting trailer, interesting conceit, obviously inspired by Friday the 13th, and like that's the vibe. It's kind of the series they're going for, I guess. Within the series, within the film, the Camp Miasma films, I think it looks like Little Death will be like this iconic. It seems like just from this trailer, it's like that's a cool design for a killer. It feels very unique, but also like very much in line with a lot of other serial killers figures. Gillian Anderson's accents is an interesting choice for this, but she's got the runs on the board, so good for her. Yeah, very intriguing. Am I going to watch this? We'll wait and see. All right, Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma. Miasma is coming to Australian cinemas on the 6th of August. All right, let's move on to this week's top 3.
Definitely in the top 3.
And with Masters of the Universe about to hit cinemas this week's top 3 is top 3 cartoon shows that should get a live action film. Dylan, I had to clarify because back on episode 155, we did top 3 animes that should come to live action. So I clarified, no animes. Do you want to guess what animes you mentioned on that episode?
I don't know. No, tell me. Initial D.
Okay. No. So I had Full Metal Alchemist, Princess Mononoke, and Megalobox. Dylan, you had Claymore,
Okay. Yeah.
Black Butler,
Yeah.
and Helsing.
All right. Cool. I can say more.
Yeah. That was the 20th of August, 2023. So
There
a
you go.
while ago.
Yeah.
All right, Dylan, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Codename Kids Next Door, which was a anime. I'll be honest, my list has a little bit of a theme here. They're all cartoon shows I watched on Cartoon Network as a kid growing up. Codename Kids Next Door is a bunch of kids who have a little secret clubhouse and they work together to save the neighborhood from bad guys, basically. It's a lot of fun. And the characters all have little numbers that they wear and they call each other number 3 and 5 and 1. And then you got number 1, who's the boss of everyone. It's just a silly little concept. And I loved it. Good fun. Do that in live action.
All right. My number 3 is one that's been in development for decades, it seems. Captain Planet. Just pull the trigger. Now's the time when we can still potentially save the Earth. And we aren't overrun by AI. kind of thing. If there's any point in time to do a Captain Planet movie, it would be now. Really, you just need. I mean, Captain Planet only shows up for a short period of time. It's mostly about the kids and the powered rings and that kind of stuff, And that seems like it's a basic team up film, Surely you can make that work. Sure, the Captain Planet of it all is kind of ridiculous, but I think you could find a way to do. Especially when it sounds like Masters Universe, which is a crazy over the top conceit, seems to be getting pretty well received from people who've seen it. So I think Captain Planet is possible. Dylan, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Recess, which is a show in which a bunch of probably again 10-year-olds, I don't know, it's adventures they get up to on recess during lunch at school, a little thing. And all I remember whenever I watched as a kid, I was like, man, I wish my recess and lunch breaks and stuff were as exciting as all these characters. Also, side note, when I went to look this up today to look at when recess started, it was 1997, by the way. I did not know, and I've never found this out, but did you know that Ashley Johnson voiced Gretchen Grundler, which is one of the main girls in this show? There you go. Yeah. So, fun fact for everyone.
Beloved actress and critical member Ashley Johnson voiced one of the people in Recess.
Yeah, voiced one of the main characters in Recess. They did a Recess movie, like animated movie as well. That was good fun.
Yeah. My number 2, Biker Mice from Mars. They're mice men riding motorcycles. It writes itself.
I've never seen that in my life, so.
You've never seen it?
No.
Biker Mice from Mars. Incredible. No. I remember fondly the video game because we would play that a lot. It was a weird. The video game was very odd because the tracks would be it would be square. Like the tracks, it would just be a square with all the obstacles and stuff, but you would race around a square and it would be top down and that kind of stuff. So that's what I remember. But a bunch of biker mice that have to deal with something. It's been a while, but I think I just remember the visuals of the actual biker mice themselves, and I think that'd be cool to bring to live action. So that's my number 2. Tell them what's your number 1.
I want Samurai Jack, which I understand wishes it was anime, but it's not. So doesn't count for your rule.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
Obviously, Samurai Jack, Adult Swim. It was the height of all. This shit came out in 2001. It was the coolest thing you could be watching. It felt like it was. You turn this on. You turn Samurai Jack on as a kid, and I was what. I was probably fucking 10. I don't know. Watching this, and it felt like I was on the right channel that I'm allowed to be on, but somehow a naughty show snuck into it. It's like this seems too adult for me. But I mean, Samurai Jack's just a very cool character. It's about a dude pretty much. I don't know. What's the pitch? He's like frame through time. It's been a while since I watched it. He's got to fight to get back and save the world, pretty much. But it's just cool ass samurai shit. How's that not prime for a movie?
Yeah, absolutely. My number 1 it's Gargoyles, which is an animated show from, again, the 90s, about a bunch of, the gargoyled stone creatures that come to life at night, who have been transported from their medieval home in Scotland to New York City, and now like the protectors of the city, that kind of thing. I think they've got some sort of sworn enemy they're trying to defeat, or some sort of spell they're trying to break, or something. But again, would be cool to see those visuals in real life and that kind of thing. Just with the way CGI is going, that kind of stuff, I think you could probably pull it off in one day. So that's my number one.
I nearly had that on my list, and then I thought about how bad it would look with the CGI they would do. I was like, nah.
You would have to get a very good team. Actually, apparently it's in development, from what I'm reading, from Atomic Monster, so we'll see. All right, Dylan, this week, what do you want to watch?
This week, I would like to watch Scary Movie, not 6. Just Scary Movie, we're calling it. And I would also like to watch, yes, that's at the movies. And then at home, I would like to watch Cape Fear on Apple TV.
Starting this week. I'm also keen for Scary Movie. We will be doing the conclusion of our Road to Scary Movie series by watching the film. But if you've been revisiting all the Scary Movie films, you should go listen to our Road to Scary Movie series, where we talk about our favorite jokes. But I am keen to check out Master of the Universe. And, well, and all the bad references. That's there we go. That covers everything. I'm keen to check out Masters of the Universe this week. I think, the buzz has been pretty positive. And I just want to see how they pull it off. And then Legend of Vox Machina starts season 4 this week over on Prime Video as well. So keen for that. Let us know what you want to watch this week by going to explosionhero.com/follow and let us know on social media. If you want to help us out here at What Do You Want to Watch, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser. Leave us 5 stars. You can leave 5 stars or just tell people about the show. And if you want to help Explosion Network with all our reviews, written contents, and other podcasts, head on over to explosionnetwork.com/support. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess.